The once small island nation of England on the edge of the world has become the most powerful nation on Earth. Britain rules through its trade and naval power, two sects of the empire that work hand in hand. Britain merchants need the Royal Navy to protect them from foreign powers and pirates, which are all too ready to attack the merchant ships. They need protection to travel to and from Britain, trading safely. Hello and welcome to the channel. I am the Knight of History, and this is of course part number 4 of a 5-part series all about the British Empire. Today we are going to talk about Britain ruling the waves through their navy and prowess. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Now let's get into this. As an island nation, Britain has had a proud naval history. However, by the 1740s, the Royal Navy was in a dire condition, and it suffered a string of rather embarrassing defeats at the hands of the French and Spanish. Therefore, they needed to have a bit of a shuffle up. The man in charge of the reform was someone called Lord George Arneson, a battle-hardened admiral. He was the first Lord of the Admiralty in 1751. Lord Arneson introduced sweeping reforms, taking control of the Marines from the Army, giving them to the Navy, having the Navy's first elite force of soldiers, who fought both on land and at the sea. He also introduced uniforms for the naval officers, consisting of the blue coats and the white breeches. And he greatly increased naval discipline, a factor which is consistent with all navies, even today. But it was a little bit harsher. For example, sailors who did not follow orders, they ran the risk of being flogged by the cat o' nine tails, a whip made out of 9 knotted leather cords designed to cut the skin. The new level of discipline was revealed in 1756 when Admiral Byng had lost Britain's most important Mediterranean colony, Minorca. Admiral Byng was dragged back to England, and the 52-year-old was court-martialed, shot by firing squad. But most importantly, Lord Arneson convinced the British Parliament to invest in the new state-of-the-art ships. Britain's enormous docks in Portsmouth, Plymouth, Deptford and Chatham employed thousands of men, kick-starting the economy, building large 70-foot gun battleships for naval wars and smaller 36-gun frigates for scouting and protecting. One ship, the 104-gun HMS Victory, was launched in 1765. It had taken 6,000 trees to build. By the way, just because someone asked me the other day, HMS, which is the prefix for all British naval ships, means His or Her Majesty's ships. The 7 Years' War, sometimes called the First World War because it was truly the very first global conflict, began in 1756. The war was mainly fought between Britain and France, but fighting spread across their colonies, with battles being fought in North America, the Caribbean, Africa, and India. Watch the British in India episode to see how the French and English fought over there, by the way. The British launched an attack on Quebec, the French capital in modern-day Canada, with the aid of the Royal Navy. 4,600 troops under the leadership of General Wolfe sailed up the St. Lawrence River towards Quebec at night. On the 13th of September, they took the city in a surprise attack. General Wolfe was in fact killed in this attack, but his victory gave Britain nearly the complete control of North America, something we're going to cover in the future months. Momentum started gaining, and later on that year, on the 20th of November 1759, the Royal Navy defeated the French Navy off of the coast of France at the Battle of Quiberon Bay. The French fleet had originally been planning to attack Britain, invade their colonies and invade their mainland, but the British Navy intercepted a fleet of 27 ships, capturing one of them and destroying 6 of them. The good times began to roll in. The Royal Navy captured Havana in Cuba and Manila in the Philippines, previously held Spanish territories. They also managed to gain a number of French islands in the Caribbean, helping them to kickstart their plantation economy. When the Treaty of Paris was signed with the French in 1763, Britain had expanded its power in India, taken French territories in North America and the Caribbean, and retained its power in the Mediterranean by keeping hold of both Majorca and Gibraltar, meaning that they had a foothold in Spain and could tax ships coming in and out of the Mediterranean Sea. The end of the 7 Years' War marked the real start of Britain's global dominance. The small island would go on to dominate the world for 150 years, using their superior naval power. By the 1800s, the British had 285 major battleships in service around the world, and that was more than the French, the Spanish, the Dutch, and the Danish fleets combined. But what was life actually like for British seamen? Well, with 150,000 of them by 1850, life was pretty tough. Naval ships could go on for months without touching dry land, so it was impossible to get fresh food. Seamen lived off of diets of meat preserved in salt and dried biscuits, which were as hard as nails and more often than not riddled with worms and insects. With no minerals nor vitamin C going in, the sailors suffered from scurvy, a disease which caused their teeth to fall out and their gums to rot, whilst their bodies became covered with sores and ulcers. Scurvy killed more men than any combat in the 18th century. Then there was this water issue. Keeping water in barrels meant that it would go bad, it would go off, it would become infected with bacteria. So the sailors began to make something they called grog, mixing rum with water to kill off the bacteria, making a cocktail so that they could stay hydrated. In fact, rum, being made from the Caribbean sugarcane, quickly became the British sailors' drink of choice, and they went on to have a ration of half a pint of rum a day, leading to alcoholism. The Royal Navy did hold some good opportunities for sailors though. When an enemy merchant ship was captured, the prize money would be shared amongst the crew. The naval seamen liked to show off their wealth with richly colourful clothes and gold earrings, giving them the nickname Jack Tars. Some would even go on to learn the practice used by native Tahitians, covering their arms in tattoos. So apart from scurvy, probable death, alcohol poisoning, and really strict rules, life wasn't so bad in the Royal Navy, helping them to become the dominant force in the world by ruling the waves. From the 7 Years' War to Napoleon. Napoleon, by the way, we're going to cover him in the next series. I really hope that you enjoyed that. Please go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. The more you know.